Hello there. Happy 2025. It's Jen
and Jay with the Brew 2.
And we are back at it. Happy New Year. It's been, we've been on hiatus for a little while.
Yeah, for, the past month or so. It's the holidays and we both got the flu and, well, we're back at it now. And we thought, why not do a video and look at what the best of 2024 was for us? Because this was a new thing for us. We went on a coffee adventure worldwide.
Yeah, and I think just going back to the why again of why we decided to do this initially in 2024 was because we decided we wanted a little hobby together, right? And
Yeah.
we love coffee. It's kind of our passion. And, we've had a lot of fun. We tasted over 40 different coffee shops. No, I take that back. We reviewed 40 coffee shops and did about 80 different tastings if you count every single coffee shop. But we were pretty prolific, I think, for 2024 for just starting off. And I'm excited to see what 2025 brings us.
And it's interesting because when we were traveling through Europe the year before, the coffee was so remarkable, which was sort of what launched us into this to begin with.
Yeah, I kind of feel it was like the impetus because that was like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. We've never tasted coffee like this.
And then when we started our adventure of the Brew 2, our first couple of experiences were like really meh. Oh,
Very marginal.
Right. So this has been a really fun journey. We had a great time traveling the world and experiencing a lot of different coffee shops and different types of roasts and methods of brewing.
Yeah, well, I think we've for just starting off, I think we got a lot of educational value from understanding coffee and it not just being a bean. It's like, I think we've mentioned this before, it's a lot like wine. There's soil conditions, there's regions of the world, there is altitudes.
Roasting methods.
There's just all sorts of different factors and variables that come into coffee tasting, like wine tasting.
Let's talk about the best of 2024. And we're going to give you maybe our top 5. We may not agree.
Never agree.
And there may be an honorable mention here and there. But basically our top 5 of 2024 and kind of why. I'm going to start with one.
Okay.
So we've traveled to this coffee shop in Sun River, Oregon a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we've gone, we've been blown away by their coffee. And it's Brewed Awakenings.
It is such a great little coffee shop. We've been there multiple times, and we always know the consistency of the coffee is going to be the same.
They've got it dialed in to such a degree that every time you take a sip, you want more. And then when you finish that cup, you want a second cup.
Yeah, and I think part of why that coffee is so good is, I think we need to be honest here, their pastries are out of this world. So we have learned that certain coffees pair really well with pastries. And for me, that is one of the things I think that makes it taste really good.
Pastries aside, the coffee is remarkable.
Well, the coffee is remarkable, but the pastries paired with it make the coffee elevated, in my opinion.
I cannot recommend Brewed Awakenings highly enough. It's that good.
Yeah, so I think that was one of our top.
Yeah, that's definitely in the top.
That's in the top 5 or 6.
Top 5
right?
for sure.
For me, and this is a little bit off the beaten path, but I really enjoyed the library in Long Beach. It was a different style of coffee for me. It was a turmeric coffee, which ordinarily I wouldn't get. But because it was something different, something I wouldn't ordinarily get, and it ended up being so flavorful, I just really enjoyed it, as well as the vibe there and overall just the coffee experience.
So yeah, this is one that we disagree on.
Yeah.
So the library, though, it's a very cool atmosphere. To me, the coffee was so mediocre, I would rather have coffee at Denny's. Where you did not have a typical coffee, so your particular special coffee was special for you.
Right.
So that's one where we disagreed, but the people there were terrific. And it's a great vibe, definitely that.
Yeah.
Moving on around the world, we threw a dart and we wound up in Western Massachusetts, in Hadley, Massachusetts.
Yes.
At a coffee shop called Essalon.
Yes, Essalon. And that was also a very, very dynamic coffee drinking experience. I'm not sure what to expect, but it was highly recommended to us, and we gave it a shot. And
it was good.
And it was very good. We had the best lunch there too, the food pairing, the experience, this charming little canopy of trees
It's
outdoors.
colonial. It's
With the asparagus festival going on, and I felt like Mayberry. So I think that one was pretty special.
I would say that's sort of a magical experience.
Yeah.
It really was. It was great.
Yeah.
Now, coming back a little closer to home, early on in our travels, we stopped off at a coffee shop in Costa Mesa. That is the main one for this coffee shop called Coffee Dose. And they have a blend of their own called Anti-Bitch.
Oh, that one was amazing.
Yeah,
Truly.
It was a rockin' coffee. It was fantastic. There was a line at the door, and you could see why.
Oh yeah, I remember there was that drunk guy there too.
Oh yeah, we ran into a little riffraff there, but the coffee shop itself is charming. It's wonderfully art directed. They have a great attitude about what they do, and their coffee.
Yeah, it's very fun. The art direction, it's just a really neat. But the coffee is fabulous. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous. I don't know if we ever really did a lot of research in terms of like where the beans were from or how they roasted. Or
no, they were
but...
organic and all that. We did.
That's right. That's right. They were actually organic beans, and they were.
And that was one of the first coffee experiences that we had, where an hour after, when we're driving back home, we realized there was no coffee lingering flavor
that was the one
on our palates.
Where I was like, oh, I don't even need a mint. It's not that gross.
Yeah, it's great coffee. Well, let's travel the world now.
Okay, let's go. Where are we going next?
We're going to what's in our cup. Okay.
Oh, yes.
So we wound up in Ireland, and we went to a couple of different coffee houses. One called Connolly's in Oughterard, and another called the Cozy Cottage in Gorey, Ireland. And
that was one of the first ones, right?
That was one of the first ones.
On our way to Wexford.
It was, and I tried the coffee, and I was like, oh my God, what's in this cup? It's blowing my mind. It is a roaster.
Yes, called Java Republic.
Java Republic. And the roast that I had was called Monkey, or is called Monkey, Munkey.
Yes, Monkey. But when we were in Oughterard at Connolly's, we tried Blue
Earth,
and that's what we have in our cup right now. We decided to do some Blue Earth brewing.
Yeah, it's also Java Republic, Blue Earth, and I gotta tell you, we imported this in.
Yes.
And we are so thankful.
Yes. And we only drink it for special occasions. Like, we don't use it as our daily driver, so to speak.
Or it's not the daily grind.
Yeah, it's daily grind.
It's too good for that.
Yeah, it's too good. So only for special occasions, like on Sunday, or, if we just want like a little indulgence in the afternoon, we will brew this one, and today's one of those days.
And it's always a surprise. Every time we brew this coffee, whether it's Monkey or Blue Earth, we're like, how did they do it?
Yeah, it is
really that good.
It is really that good. Yeah, it's definitely within the roasting, because we have learned like a lot of beans, even in Europe, come from Italy. So if a lot of the beans are being imported from Italy, then they're obviously the differentiating factor is going to be how they roast it, right? And the blends that they use.
The beans that they source, how they blend it, and how they roast it. And Java Republic.
It is so good.
Whoa.
Yeah. Those little biscuits they gave us were good.
And as you travel around Ireland, you'll see signs everywhere proudly serving Java Republic.
Yes.
And it's multi-award winning. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think that was our first introduction to coffee in Ireland. And I think we tried a lot of other different places that we obviously didn't do evaluations on as well. But, and actually, we didn't even do an evaluation on this one when we first tried it.
That is true.
So, but it's definitely an honorable mention, because this coffee, as we've just stated, is the bomb.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling good. So, traveling the world again, Japan. We didn't go to Japan. However,
I thought we did.
We went to Aliso Viejo, California, and there is a coffee house called Mamea. Now, the reason why I mentioned Japan is it's a family-owned business. They have several coffee shops in Japan, but only one in Southern California.
Yes, and there's so many different types of beans in this shop that they have.
They micro roast.
Yeah, they do micro roast, and it's just really amazing. But the one that we had was
Kobe
blend,
the
right?
Kobe blend.
And that one was just outstanding.
Really was. And there's something about this coffee house that elevates it above others, and the love and attention that they put into every cup. It is a work of art. When you see them actually preparing your coffee, you're like, they really love what they do here.
Yeah, it's not like your typical chain, right? Where it's a drip coffee with whatever beans that are mass produced. I mean, some of these boutique places that we have visited definitely are unique and have special, unique roasting methods, different blends they use, the micro roasting. I mean, it's just all really, like I said, I don't think when we ventured out on this journey, we expected to learn as much as we did. And I still feel like we probably have more to learn. But I think these sort of experiences have elevated our experience and content too that we can bring.
Now, Jenn had mentioned something about coffee being aligned in some ways with wine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take us to Temecula, California.
Wow.
Right? Which is a wine region here in Southern California.
Well, to the true wine snobs, it's not considered a true wine region, but
it is a wine region here in Southern California,
yes.
And there's a coffee shop there called Le Café, and it's owned by a couple from France.
Mm-hmm.
And they spent years developing this particular blend and this roast. And when I experienced this coffee, it reminded me of what we had in Italy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really did. Very good coffee. And the food also, the pairings were really great. The pastries were yum. And
the coffee's so good that I do bring their beans home.
Yeah, you make special little trips.
Special trips
to go and bring the beans back.
And special occasions. Again, I don't have it daily. It's too good for that. But if we're going to do an honorable mention and talk about a daily bean that you could have, Phil's.
Yes, Phil's was remarkable. That was also one of our very early on videos. Yeah. We were still trying to formulate who we are and what we do. And that coffee also is magnificent. And
there are several Phil's locations here in Southern California.
It's a growing company.
And what I found to be surprising about Phil's is they do not have an espresso machine. They are not making it one cup at a time. They're actually doing drip coffees.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good. Surprisingly good. And anytime you go to Phil's, any of the Phil's, you will see that they are filled with patrons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Very good coffee for a drip coffee. So that would be a good daily grind thing to bring home. And
I agree. That would be a daily drinker as well. So let's talk also a little bit about, let's shoot up the West Coast now back to Oregon.
We're going back to Oregon.
We're going back to Oregon.
Bigfoot country.
Bigfoot, Sasquatch. I really enjoyed Mount Hood.
Mount Hood Roasters.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mount Hood Roasters. Yes, Mount Hood Roasters. And I think, what I really enjoyed about Mount Hood was definitely the coffee drinking experience. I mean, we took coffee home on that one too.
We did. It was that good.
But also the owners were very welcoming, and they gave us a tour of, the coffee beans, where the coffee beans are stored, to how they do their blend.
Their recipes.
And their micro roasting, how they do the micro roasting.
And
the popping.
The air roasting that they do.
Yeah, and then the popping and the crack that they look for. Mm-hmm. And it just, again, it elevated us in terms of our education. And I think that's always a really cool thing when we can learn something along the way.
So what will 2025 bring for us? Who knows? That's what the adventure is all about. But if you're looking at what was the best for us in 2024, I think we hit the highlights here. remarkable experiences. There are a couple of other honorable mentions that I would bring up. For example, Moose Coffee in Liverpool. We had a great experience.
Oh yeah, for
It was
sure.
very, very good.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of great experiences that we had. I mean, especially like in Europe, but obviously you can't film every single coffee experience while you're there. Well, you could, but you know.
Even this restaurant pub that we went to in Ireland called the Good.
Oh, that was really good coffee also.
They had Italian passion coffee.
Yes, yeah. We did the video on
We
that
did a
one.
video on it. We had 2 cups each on that because it was that good.
Yes.
Definitely an honorable mention. Lovely experience, lovely people. So we've had some great coffee.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to more great coffee this year. So it's Jay and Jen with
The
the Brew 2. We're coming to you 1 cup at a time.
One coffee shop at a time. So cheers.
Cheers. Happy 2025.